failure to prepare and publish quarterly financial reports. Clerk, were you preparing quarterly financial reports in that financial year?
Yes.
And copying them to the relevant parties, because you're supposed to copy to the Auditor General, Controller of Budget, to the National Treasury, and Commission on Revenue Allocation.
Yes, we have not been copying to all institutions.
Where is the evidence? Because that's a requirement.
Yes, we can get the evidence because we've been sharing.
Does the evidence exist, or you're going to manufacture it?
No, they exist. They exist, but we've only been sharing with the chairman, with the National Treasury, and the
what is the requirement of the law? Because that's what the Auditor General has cited, the PFM regulations. Auditor General, who should be served with those reports?
The response to that, Mr.
Now let's get the position of the law.
We should get a copy, the COB and the Treasury.
National Treasury.
And the National Treasury.
Yes.
There's a provision that also refers to the CRA, unless that is for annual statements. The Commission on Revenue Allocation. I remember I was discussing it in Eldoret with Nancy, whether those provisions are met. So, Clerk, please do not try to defend the indefensible. If you are not, even if you did it and you didn't circulate it to everybody, that is still a violation. What we want now, have you corrected that problem?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Control of Budget, you'll confirm to us whether they are sending to you?
Yes, Chair, they do, a bit late.
Okay. OAG?
I don't think we receive a copy.
You receive a copy.
Currently.
We have letters here. Currently, yes.
We are in trouble. I'll find out.
Senator Dulo?
Chair, I just wanted to ask whether the Assembly prepares their expenditure report. That's number one. Number two, does the Executive give you copies of the expenditure report for the purpose of tabling in the Assembly? You have evidence to that effect?
Yes, we do prepare our expenditure report, and the Executive also. It has not been happening before, but lately we've made communications and...
OAG, what is the requirement? Because over the years, Isiolo has refused to actually provide expenditure reports. Yes. Expenditure report, what they have utilized.
You are asking?
I'm asking what is the requirement by law?
I know they are required to submit them to us, and if they don't submit, we report.
So they have not been submitting?
There's no evidence that they submitted these ones attached, but as regards currently, I'll find out. They are saying...
The one I'm asking is different from this one.
Yes.
The public finance management. No.
I thought to the OAG they submit the expenditure.
Quarterly financial report. I'm asking about quarterly expenditure report.
Isn't that what they are supposed to submit to you for you to do the quarterly budget implementation review statements?
We normally send the quarterly financial statements. So it also serves as a prerequisite for the exchequers releases. But the expenditure returns, okay, there's a difference between the financial statements and the expenditure returns. So we receive the financial statements.
Which provision of law requires them to do the expenditure returns?
I'll confirm that shortly.
But Senator Mtata is pursuing that matter in a case that would set precedent. Senator Mtata, would it be sub judice for you to tell us what you are pursuing with respect to that? Because I think you have asked for expenditure returns in a county, and the county says that it's none of your business. How do we treat the concern of Senator Dulo? The mic.
The Speaker, unfortunately, that contempt card that the display gave us is the same contempt card we seem to get on the ground. And I think the purpose of that case was to restore the pecking order. That one is an executor and the other is a supervisor. And the supervisor is always higher than the executor. However much money. It's not a question of class, it's a question of status. You may be of a higher class, but you are of a lower status. The governor, the speaker of the county assembly are of a lower status compared to the senator. It's like if you go to a shopkeeper today, you want to buy a piece of sweet. The shopkeeper may be a billionaire, but you have just walked off the street, you live on the street. But because of your status as a customer, which is higher than his, as the owner of the shop, he'll forget his class and walk to serve you, sell you the sweet. Because without doing that, he loses his capacity to retain that shop. So the status of the senator as the supervisor of the county is what we want to restore by that pleading. And the court has found that the issue is fundamental to the architecture of the Constitution and certified this as requiring 3 judges or more to determine. So I think this idle concern that you can't audit the county assembly when the county assembly survives on, that you can't supervise the county assembly when it survives on money that is devolved, which we pass, is just some level of madness that you cannot place. Yeah, because without that money, the county assembly cannot function. We don't supervise that legislative work, but the way they spend the money, we supervise. They must account for how the money has been used. And so that's how it is. And I think the question of documentation that needs to be made available to the senator are very, very clear, including what Senator Dula just referred to. And it would help us if the county assembly and the county executives begin being transparent, because the only conclusion is that they're hiding stuff. They're hiding stuff, and the Auditor General's report is an opinion, which does not preclude a senator from going to do monitoring and oversight. In fact, an Auditor General does a postmortem of what has happened. He doesn't monitor and oversight in real time, which a senator would be expected to do, and especially through facilities like the Oversight Fund. He'd be expected to, in real time, supervise and even maybe intervene and stop something that's going wrong before it goes wrong. So that petition, if it succeeds, it's going to shake up the balance of power in the counties and the pecking order, and put the governors where they belong as juniors to the senators. And that's why it's very important to tell people that you are a senator of the Republic of Kenya. Cherargei can come to Busia and supervise the books of Busia. But Sang cannot come to Busia because Sang is a village boy.
Yes. Makofi.
Cherargei is a senator of the Republic of Kenya.
Yes.
So that's what needs to be understood.
We are restoring sanity.
That the Senate falls just under the speakers of the National Assembly. After the President, the Deputy President, the Speaker, then the Senate. There's no other order. And so that petition is going to restore that pecking order, and we hope that before when we get there, it will be important. It's important that we begin doing what the Constitution requires them to do, which is to be transparent and accountable. And more so the senator who is constitutionally mandated to follow this money and say how has it been used. There's no other way.
Thank you, Senator Mtata. You can trust on we can trust on your tenacity to ensure that this matter is ruled in our favor. Number 5, irregular procurement of motor vehicle repair services. Auditor General, you had said there was something pending here. What was pending?
There was no evidence provided to show existing government contract or complexity of the model of the vehicle. Hence, the response was not satisfactory.
Clerk, did you provide that evidence? Is it here or it's still? It's not there.
We wrote to them, but they have not gotten us.
So that remains an irregular procurement. We shall pronounce ourselves. Unlawful contributions to SOCAT. We have taken a position on this particular matter. We do not have a problem clerks associating themselves under the umbrella of SOCAT, but we have a problem when that organization is funded by monies that are supposed to do other things. So we have a position on that. We are not going to go into details. Lack of a functional audit committee. Do you have an audit committee, Mr. Clerk? What the auditor cited was its functionality and its effectiveness. Can you tell me the last time as a secretary to the board, when you scheduled an agenda item to discuss the audit committee's report? Never.
I interact with the internal auditor's office, that is the secretary to the committee, and we do go through the agendas and
where do the reports of internal of audit committees, because there's internal audit department and there's an audit committee, where do their reports end? Do they end and die with the clerk, or they're supposed to be brought to the board?
With the board.
Have you ever brought those reports to the board?
Yes.
When?
We've the current audit committees.
Have you, as a board, ever sat down to consider an agenda item report of the audit committee?
No.
And please remember you're on oath. No.
No.
So that's what the auditor is querying, that you have an audit committee, but it is not functional. So what assurances are you giving to the Senate?
Mr. Chairman, we are giving capacity to the department. We realize that they did not have enough human resource capacity, which we send them out for trainings to manage these committees. And going forward, the reports of these committees now shall be administered properly and as per the law.
I think, Clerk, this is why sometimes we feel like we are throwing money down a hole. When this Senate, these distinguished gentlemen and ladies come to Isiolo with a view to conducting an oversight meeting in Isiolo, you and your officers disappear. You only leave sergeant-at-arms to serve as water and to open doors. How do you expect to build your capacity if you're not benchmarking and sharing experiences? We have looked at 46 other county assemblies and 47 county executives over the last 10 years. 470 assemblies, 470 county executives. We have experience that we can share with you and tell you how another county assembly has made its audit committee effective. And then when we come, you run away. And the head of the board says those things that we have already dealt with. I think you guys must change your attitude, because Isiolo is not a republic on its own. It is a county that is bound by the same constitution and the same County Governments Act and the same PFM Act as the other counties. Senator Dulo.
I think, Chair, still the clerk has not understood the question. What we expect you to tell us is who are the consumers of your report. Auditor, internal auditor's report. So clearly, when you have the board meetings, you must table those reports, because it will guide you on how you are actually carrying out your procurement and all that. The challenges, the gaps, those issues are pointed out in the internal auditor's report. So when you have those board meetings, you should even table that report as an agenda of your discussion.
Maybe I'm being seriously harassed now. I don't know who protects me, because the person who is supposed to protect me. Now, crack, just a very quick one, and there's an English word that I'm not able to pronounce. Only the chair can be able to pronounce it, but it is something like, let me not even try, but it is the structure of the county assembly of your establishment. Just say it again. That word that I am not able to pronounce, I hope you are able to pronounce it yourself. I come from Nyandarua. It's difficult to pronounce some of these words.
Organogram?
Very good. Now that you know it, who is the senior most in your internal audit department? You have a principal, you have a director of audit, or who is the senior most?
The principal auditor.
You have a principal auditor.
Yes.
Does he sit in the County Assembly Management Committee?
Yes.
Yes. Yes, he does. Oh, very good.
Okay, so I think there's a weakness in your audit committees, internal audit functions. Auditor General, please keep this in view because this is not a matter that we can resolve. But ultimately, we must hold responsible the professional, because these are professional activities. At least the internal audit must be manned by a member of a professional institute. Even the audit committee, I believe that there are some professional qualifications. There are professional qualifications. So, Clerk, this forms part of the agenda. We are advancing when we are meeting ISPAC later on, when we are doing the meeting of the critical stakeholders, that their members are letting county assemblies and county executives down. We will exit this report for 2022 just by asking one final question, which is not in the audit report.